Hello and welcome back to my page. My name is Jonquil Art. If you're new here, welcome. I know a lot of people are here from TikTok. Yes, I'm just as crazy on there when I'm talking about markers as I am on here. Today, I'm not just going to fuss about oh hoo hoo. We're going to talk about art supplies in general. Now, true story, when I was undergrad and I was going to SCAD, I was a broke student. Yet, like most college students, I was broke. I was there paying for myself a little older than most students. And for whatever the hell reason, them teachers would give us our art supply list with the most expensive art supply on there. Never really telling us why. We just had to have the most expensive. I'm talking about Grumbacher, Winsor Newton, Prismacolor, like the top of the line professional grade stuff. Now I guess maybe they was trying to train us to have a more professional mind, but nowadays they have so many different brands of art supply that you don't have to break the bank. There's a big difference between Winsor and Newton and Rose Art. And we're going to talk about some of my favorite art supply today, especially since I am teaching in TikTok University Hillman Talk art class. If you haven't enrolled, go ahead and go to the link in my bio, or it might actually be linked below. Grab a syllabus, join us here this weekend, February 2nd, live here on YouTube. We are going to be going into value training. But tonight now, I want to show you some different art supplies. First things first, it would not be me if I did not talk about markers, because that's what y'all know me for. I'm the marker lady. So there's two types of markers you will always see me use. You will see me use alcohol markers, which is your hoo hoo, your Cal art, your Ho2 art, your touch art. Everybody got the last name art. You will see a lot of people on the internet using these. Your Copic, your Prismacolor. These are alcohol markers. And then we also have acrylic markers. Now these are paint markers. The cute thing about these is that one, they can work on any surface. So if you like to paint rocks, if you want to paint on canvas, on certain types of paper, metal, glass, this is the marker you are going to want. The difference is this has a little more plastic, water based, and it's actually paint. It's meant to sit on top of the paper. This is alcohol. It evaporates just like alcohol. Also, it is basically dye ink. You are actually dyeing your paper. That is why it is impossible to have bleed proof alcohol markers. People ask all the time, do they bleed? Do they bleed? If it say alcohol, it's going to bleed. Think first aid. Are you bleeding? Somebody grab some alcohol. Now, to further demonstrate the difference between the alcohol marker and acrylic marker, let's just go ahead and do a quick video. You see how that's seeping into the paper? That's such a good blend. You see how that seeped into the paper? It almost became one with it. You can see the textures of the paper. Now this is fine art media paper. We're gonna get into paper a little bit later, and it does bleed through. Turn back over. Now we're gonna look at an acrylic marker. Now I'm gonna tell you more about acrylic markers in a minute. So I don't know if you can see the difference. One of them bled into the paper, one of them sits on top of the paper. And also there's different ways that you would blend these. We already know how alcohol markers blend. These, when you're blending these, for the most part, you're going to paint them in layers. That's how you're going to get your blend. And they're not really going to seep into each other the way this would. They're going to sit on top of each other. Now, while all alcohol markers are pretty much made the same, acrylic markers are different. There's all different types of acrylic markers, but it really comes down to two. You're going to have some acrylic markers that are going to have a brush tip to them, and they're going to be automatic ink, meaning that you don't have to do much work. You just pop the top, and they are ready to go. These are my favorite. You're going to see me using these the most. The brand that I recommend, especially if it's your first time buying them, is the Sharpie Creatives markers. These are such good markers. They're so smooth. Look how smooth that is. And they're so opaque. You can pick this up at any local art store. I got mine from Walmart. I highly recommend these. There's also Grabby has so many different options if you want to go with that. These are also a little bit automatic ink, meaning that they're fine tip, but as soon as you pop the top, they are ready to go. Look at how smooth that is. Now, this is why you want to pay attention to the type of paper you're getting. You see how that tore up that paper a little bit? This is why having good paper is an investment when you're working with these. Because this is what? This is paint. So this particular marker right here, I'll probably use this on canvas because it's not going to tear up no canvas. And then you have these. Now, this is Ohuhu's brand, but the same thing you would have to do if you got Posca, which is a very, very popular brand. These are the ones that you have to shake and pump. So in order to get the ink to come out of these, I'm shaking like dice. You have to shake it and then you have to pump it in order for the paint to come out. Now, see, I don't like doing all of that work, but this used to be the standard when it came to acrylic marker. Only recently did you start really seeing the automatic ink ones, but these are usually the more opaque ones. Like, you're going to get a lot of ink out of these. So if you're somebody who likes to paint, these are going to be a bang for your buck when it comes to that, because they're going to have true opaqueness to them. But for me, I ain't about to do all that shaking and shivering and humping and pumping. I got other means of doing that. Okay, I got other things I need to shake. I ain't trying to shake no markers. Some other supplies that you will see people using in the coloring world especially are gel pens. And there's different types of gel pens. The most popular gel pen you will see is a white gel pen. This is how we get those little white highlights that you see people doing on their artwork. That's a gel pen. That's not a marker. Unless it's an acrylic marker. You can do an acrylic marker or a white gel pen to get this. But you see all of those little white details? They're not doing that with an alcohol marker. They got one of these, or they got one of them acrylic markers I showed you earlier. These are jelly rolls. I got these from Walmart. You can get them from TikTok Shop. You can get them from Amazon. And they just work right on top of your art. They sit right on top. That gives you those great highlights. If you join my TikTok University school, which is just a free school that I'm teaching, we can go into more depth on these. Also going to see a lot of different like metallic markers. You're going to see metallic paint markers, metallic pens. I particularly like the pens, and I will show you why. You can obviously get metallic acrylic markers, but I don't really know if I like that effect. I've never been a fan of it, but I'll get a gold so you can see the gold. I like to use the gel pen, especially if I'm doing small details, because look at that richness. You see that? You see the difference? Look at that richness. You'll also see certain brands do glitter fine tip markers. Now these, I believe I do have to shake. I haven't tested these out yet. I just received them. These were gifted to me. But you see, yes, these I have to shake and I have to pump. But these I'll allow the shake and pump because I just know. See what I mean? All that work. All that about that base. No trouble. See, all that work and I still ain't got no payoff. I may be a little bit impatient, you know. Oh my God. Come out with, there we go. I'm like, come out with it. Now you see firsthand experience of what you would have to do for every marker. It is shimmery and shiny though. I will tell you that. It's very shimmery and very shiny. But you can also get that same effect with another pen. This is a glitter pen. You can get that effect with a glitter pen just as quickly without doing all that shaking and pumping. Now you got you some sparkles. In addition to these type of markers, you may see other markers out there. You're going to see water-based markers. Now, in my opinion, water-based markers are best for calligraphy or people who like to do like stationery and things of that matter. That's my personal opinion, and I said what I said. But there are some people who are managed to get beautiful coloring pages out of them. There is also watercolor marker. And for reference, before I turn the page, this illustration right here was done entirely with acrylic markers. This is a watercolor marker illustration. Now, I don't know where my watercolor markers are, otherwise I will show them to you, but I'll actually dedicate another video to them. But if you go back and look through my previous videos, I do have time lapses of me working with them. This is the type of, these are markers. This is the type of effect you can get with a watercolor marker. Tombow is the brand that I usually use, and these are the type of effects that you can get. You can get solid lines, or you can actually use a water pen or use a water brush and get actual watercolor effect. By the way, these coloring pages that you see, especially this work in progress, these are from my upcoming coloring book. Working title is Pause and Proper. It is a Bridgerton inspired coloring book. And I will have more details for that coming out, but I'm only giving you a sneak peek right now. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is Old Faithful. Well, you don't even have to touch markers if you got you some good color pencils. Now, these I have had with me forever. I have had these color pencils. These are Prismacolor. I've had these for years. If I'm lucky enough, I'll be able to pass these down as my inheritance for generations. Pull these out for almost every coloring page when I want that it factor effect. When I really want it to really stand out, I'm whipping out the color pencils, because color pencils and markers together are chef's kiss. Also, if you get good enough with color pencils, you can render the most realistic artwork. Like, oh my God, there's this guy on TikTok who did lettuce. The lettuce looked like you can just reach out, touch it, and make a salad. Most of you know how to use color pencils. The thing about color pencils, you're going to see them come in a wide range of different prices depending on the brand. You may even see color pencils in the 200s. No, that is not a mistake. Some color pencils deserve to, well, not does anything really deserve to be in the 200s, but some color pencils are worth that because they are just that good. They are soft, they're smooth, they're blendable, they're archival. They're not gonna leave like a waxy film, because some stuff is professional based, and when you are getting paid top dollar by a client, you're gonna use the best of the best. These were expensive, hence why I'm going to use them to the very last kernel of lead. And that is why I want to show you this. This is a pencil extender. So when you're using your color pencils and they're getting low, you're going to go ahead and slide them in this pencil extender, and you're going to extend their life. Another thing about color pencils, if you know anything about them, you know they have the ability to break on you like a man that you trusted. That's why you want to invest in a good color pencil sharpener. Notice I said color pencil sharpener because you want one that is specified for them. You see this right here? It says color. That is meant for my color pencils to go in because it can handle very soft lead. Also, if you have a makeup sharpener, like a liner pencil sharpener, those work just as well because they're made for softer lead. This is going to save you from having to constantly twist it and have it break and twist it and have it break. This is going to help you out a lot. And yes, you must use a sharpener. This is 2025. You do not need to be up there sharpening it with an X-Acto knife. I don't care what your teacher told you. He's a Neanderthal. Get you a proper sharpener, okay? Not everybody is meant to be handling sharp objects. I mean, look at my finger. Duh. When it comes to color pencils, there are different types of color pencils as well. There are wax-based pencils like you see here. These are soft wax-based color pencils. There's also watercolor color pencils, and there are also hard color pencils. Hard color pencils are meant for doing things like outlines, whereas this is meant to be, colored with and blended. Make sure you look at the difference when you're buying them, because if your color pencil seems hard, you may have bought the hard kind. There's also a new wave of color pencils. We got retractable color pencils now, like a mechanical pencil. And then we have woodless color pencils that are just straight up sticks of color. These are great for knocking out backgrounds. These are amazing for that. I also see soft pastel color pencils or even charcoal color pencils as well. Everyday tool of the trade, but it's so important to have are different types of erasers. Now, I don't do traditional art as much as I used to, so I don't have a lot of erasers on hand. But when I used to do fully traditional art, when I used to sketch, oh, I had a plethora of different types of erasers. There's like gum erasers, magic erasers, pink erasers, white ones. This is by far one of my absolute favorite erasers. Get you an eraser that comes in one of these like mechanical retractable things. This right here, you see how thin it is? And see, I took an X-Acto and sharpened it to a point. That way I can get in there and erase and get myself some good detail. Now, when it comes to color pencils overall, it really depends on your own personal preference, how much you want to spend. I would say get a good mid-range color pencil. You do not have to spend all the money getting Prismacolor color pencils, even though these are my preferred brand. There are so many different brands. I would say 100% explore. Just don't come in here with Crayola or Rose Art. There's nothing wrong with Crayola. It's just that you're going to have to work a little bit harder to get more of a payoff than you would if you use a different brand like Shuttle Art or something like that. Absolutely everything wrong with Rose Art. Don't you ever come in here and disrespect me. You might as well tell me my mama is a hoe before I allow you to come in here and offer me something done with Rose Art. I apologize if anybody out there has a children or there's some good, kind-hearted, non-cussing people who are watching this page. Every now and then, my true southerner will come out. Sorry, y'all. Next thing we want to go over is if you are interested in doing any type of line art, you are going to have to invest in some good line art pens. A regular pen will not do. You are going to want an artist grade pen. Talk about my sketchbook. I had to pull it from a fire. So these are the type of pens you're going to use to create illustrations like this and sketches like this. You see how deep and dark they are and how good quality the line work is. Oh my. This is done with an artist grade pen. These are from Faber-Castell. I highly recommend these. You can get these from Michael's or Hobby Lobby. What year was this? I didn't put the year. I should have put the year. Oh, there's Rue. Yeah, so this is all done with these. See, it has such a good quality, and they come in different sizes. I usually use fine tip and small for my artwork, but they come in all different type of broad ranges. So if you're going to do any type of line work, or they're even good to write with, I would highly suggest these. Oh my. I would highly suggest these. Lastly, we are going to go over paper. Now, this is important for all artists and creatives, but especially if you are going to be trying to print off your own digital coloring book pages. You need to know what you should be printing on. For reference, this is everyday copy paper. Very flimsy. You can't do nothing with it but, print out my syllabus. But you cannot, well, not even that, but you print out your standard documents and things like that. This is standard copy paper. Use this for scratch paper. You can even sketch on this. This is not suitable to print any of your coloring pages on. This is not suitable to do any type of important artwork on at all, other than maybe just a quick pencil sketch. You can hear it and it can shake like a leaf. You don't need to draw on it. When you're buying your sketchbooks or you're buying your printable cardstock, I want you to pay attention to where you see pounds. That's going to tell you how heavy your paper is. And when they're talking about pounds, they don't mean that this book right here is obviously 140 pounds. They're talking about the ream itself that the paper was cut from, how much it weighed. But usually the pounds will tell you how heavy the paper is. Also, I say the Gaza, but the GM, that's also going to tell you the higher the number here is, the higher quality your paper is. This is 300. This is a really good paper. This paper can handle watercolor. You see, it can handle watercolor without tearing up. Oh Lord. And you see, this paper, I would have to put some effort into bending this paper. You see how I'm bending it like that and it's just snapping right back? This is good paper. Now, this is too thick to go into your printer, But if you're going to be doing some light sketching, some coloring, some fully rendered stuff, if you're going to be using acrylic marker, and pretty much anything that I showed you, you can use here. Just don't put this in your printer. A good matte cardstock if you're going to be printing off like digital. Maybe you bought some digital papers from Etsy, or you bought like a digital coloring book from me because I sell a nail art one. You want to get like a nice thick cardstock. This is 120 pounds. You can get a 120-pound premium cardstock from Walmart for less than $10, and you can get like a pack of 100 of them. That is why I highly suggest. Now, I think I might have gotten mine from Sam's Club, matter of fact. And you can get beautiful artwork on that. See, I printed her out, I colored her in, and handled the markers so well. It's so vibrant. Of course, it is alcohol, so it's going to bleed through, but it didn't even bleed through that bad. And this is 120 pounds. You see the difference between that and the thinner paper? My coloring book, this is 100-pound paper in here. It is super thick and super velvety, and you can see how well it can take the markers and the color pencils and everything that I throw at it. This is why it's important to know what type of paper you're going to be working with, because otherwise you're going to tear the page up. And this is also maybe a reason why sometimes you may have trouble with a coloring book you get from Amazon. You got to look at how much the paper weight is, and you got to change up your style of how you're going to color on it completely. Once you combine almost all of the art supplies that I showed you, you can create images like this. This is a page in my coloring book. This character was not a skeleton character. She was a beautiful young lady looking over her shoulder with a backless dress on. I wanted to do something for Halloween without having to do an actual Halloween illustration. So I went in and I drew all of this on here using acrylic markers. This is a combination of everything I showed you. When you learn to master everything, you can do stuff like this. So you see the base of it was done in alcohol marker. Then I went on top with my acrylic marker and added her skulls and everything. Then if you zoom in, you can see the shading that I did with the color pencils. You see these highlights? This is also acrylic marker. So there's different elements of everything in there. And if I wanted to, I can go in there and add some of those glitter paint pens as well. Everything in here is an element of what I've already showed you. Let's see, I might have one more. They're all mixed, but I know I have one more really good mixed one in here that's kind of popular. I should have. Oh, there she is. You got a mini flip through of the book. This is another mixed media one. This is not what this illustration is. If you have this book, you will flip through this book looking for Pennywise and won't find her, because I used acrylic marker to transform the coloring page. I drew on the pom-poms, I drew the little hat in, I added the balloon to the background, I did this little ruffle. That's all done with acrylic marker. And I changed her outfit because she had a tank top on. But because I was able to use acrylic marker, I could paint over the line art that was originally there, and I was able to give myself a brand new image. This is what you can achieve when you learn to do a little bit of everything. And it doesn't have to be with something as, strict as what I'm using. You can combine elements and get things on a simple illustration as well. Because this is more than just alcohol markers. We got a little bit of gel pen in there too. And if I wanted to, I can go in there and put the color pencils to use. I could get in there and really get to it. These are the things that I want you to walk away with after you've been with me for some time. Hope you enjoyed this mini class in art supplies. We're probably going to have to do a field trip one day and go to an art store so I can walk you through all the different art supplies that they have. Because if you ever went to like a real art store, it can be overwhelming. Do they still have real art stores? Because there used to be art stores completely dedicated to nothing but art. Do they still have those? If you found any of this informing or you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. Please remember to like and subscribe. And if you haven't, go ahead and download the syllabus so you can be a part of my human TikTok University art therapy class. We're going to learn some stuff and we're going to turn off our brains and get creative with a lot of that anxious energy that is running through us. Y'all, February 2nd, right here on YouTube Live at 7 Central Time PM. If you miss it, don't worry. It's going to be an automatic replay. Can't wait to see y'all there. See y'all. Bye.